Billie sat on the cracked concrete steps of the abandoned apartment building, his mind wandering back to the days of his childhood in the projects. He remembered the taunts, the jeers, and the fists that had once made his life a living hell. But all of that changed when he met Castro, the notorious drug dealer who ruled these streets with an iron fist. Castro had seen something in Billie, something raw and untamed, and he had taken him under his wing. For years, Castro had been Billie's protector, his mentor, and his provider. In return, Billie had pledged his loyalty to Castro, willing to do whatever it took to prove his worth. Tonight was different, though. Tonight, Billie's loyalty was being tested in the most brutal way imaginable. Castro had given him a task that went against everything Billie believed in. He was to murder a man named Tony, someone who had been paid not to testify in a murder case, but had taken the money and run. Billie's hands trembled as he clutched the Glock 19 in his pocket. He didn't want to do it, but he knew that disobeying Castro was not an option. Loyalty in the streets meant everything, and Billie couldn't bear the thought of betraying the man who had shown him kindness in a world full of cruelty. As he stood up and made his way toward the abandoned building where Tony was waiting, Billie felt a wave of conflicting emotions wash over him. Anger, guilt, fear, and a sense of duty battled for control of his thoughts. But in the end, it was loyalty that won out. When he finally reached the room where Tony was, he saw him sitting on an old mattress, his eyes filled with a mixture of defiance and resignation. He knew why Billie was there, and he knew what fate awaited him. "I'm sorry," Billie whispered, his voice barely audible even to himself. He raised the pistol, his hands shaking uncontrollably. This wasn't who he wanted to be, but it was who he had become in this unforgiving world. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the empty room, followed by the deafening silence of death. Billie's heart pounded in his chest as he looked down at the lifeless body of Tony. He had done the unthinkable, all in the name of loyalty. But as he turned and walked away, the weight of his actions settled heavily on his shoulders. Loyalty had come at a high price, and Billie knew that this was a debt that could never truly be repaid.